Hi, everybody. It's Action Hero, and I'm back. And today's video is really exciting. I've been excited to make this video for quite a while, ever since I saw a suggestion for it on YouTube. So it's not my own original idea, but I put a lot of effort into it and thought. And so this video is my top 10 most wished for toys from McFarlane. And so whether this is in the DC Direct line or in the DC Multiverse line, these are the figures that I really wish Todd McFarlane would make sooner rather than later. My top 10 most wished for of all time. So yeah, stick with me, and here we go. Okay, so number one, right off the bat, is Green Lantern. And specifically Hal Jordan. I just call him Green Lantern because to me, he's like the one true Green Lantern. He's the greatest Green Lantern of all time. And yes, you're probably saying, Todd already made a Green Lantern figure. It came in the 2-pack with the Dawnbreaker, and you'd be right. And that figure's in the middle. But I am not a huge fan of that figure. I did like the head sculpt, but other than that, it just was not my cup of tea. There was way too much added detail on it. It did not look like the Rebirth suit. It didn't look like any suit that that Green Lantern had ever worn, particularly, not his classic suit, which I really love. The closest thing that it was probably closest to the New 52 suit, which did have some of the line work that you see here, although not any of the precise line work, just some stuff on the shoulders. But this has a lot of excess piping, excess line work that Todd just decided to include. It uses the exact same sculpt as the John Stewart figure, which also had way too much line work, and except for the head. And like I said, I do really like this head sculpt. I'd be fine if Todd used the same head sculpt, but as for the body, to me, needs to be completely revamped. And I put the picture on the left because that's what I would like to see most, is a modern version of Hal Jordan without the trunks, but with very little piping. So you see on the figure on the left, there's no line work, there's no piping other than, basically just the differentiation between the colors on the suit. And so I would love it if Todd were to base his figure on Liam Sharp's artwork from The Green Lantern by Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp. I love the artwork in that series, and I think it'd be really cool to base a figure on that. And a lot of really great potential there. But yeah, the way Liam Sharp drew Green Lantern was that, yes, he was very muscular, but his the suit itself was very, very simple and fairly classic. No line work or piping at all. And I would add that I would want the Green Lantern to come with, yes, a construct, that'd be great, but a lantern, because the very first release of Hal Jordan that you see in the middle here did not come with a power battery, and to me that was a huge foresight. Now in the Blackest Night line that's soon to come out, you do see the release of some of the lanterns and power batteries as accessories, which is really great, but I want to see a lot more of that. And then as for the figure, and as for the picture on the right, that is a classic version of Hal Jordan, which I would also love to see Todd McFarlane put out, even if it was just like the same sculpt but repainted so that it was a classic version of Hal Jordan. I would appreciate that. Or he could, change it up and make it look really, really classic. But this is Joe Staten's Green Lantern, and I really love the way it looks, just the classic colors, and would really want to see Todd McFarlane make that. So yeah, that's my number one figure, and he's also my favorite character of all time. So it makes sense that I would want more Hal. I can never get enough Hal Jordan action figures. Todd could make 25 of them, and I would not complain. I would be as excited as I am right now. And then my number two would be Hawkman. Now, Todd McFarlane has told us that he is going to put out a movie version of Hawkman from the Black Adam movie to come out in November. But of course, that's a movie version. It's not the comic book Hawkman. It's neither the classic suit that you see on the right, nor is it the modern that you see on the left. It's instead, the movie version which I think the suit, as far as I know, looks really cool, but it's just not the comic book version. So I'm definitely gonna buy the figure when it comes out, the movie version, but I want to see a Hawkman figure, and particularly the modern suit as drawn by both Fernando Pessarin and Brian Hitch, which I think is a very cool look for the character that you see there on the left. I highly recommend, if you're a Hawkman fan at all, or even if you just are somewhat interested in the character, the Brian Hitch and Fernando Pessarin run on the character that was really quite good, and I think streamlined his history in a way that's never happened before. But also, as with the Green Lantern figure, I would love to see a classic version of Hawkman. I like Hawkman's classic look a lot, especially like how Joe Kubert draws it. So I would want to see that. And as for accessories, I would of course want Hawkman to come with a mace, but it'd also be cool if he came with like a possibly a net or a spear, sword, shield, something like that, because he uses all forms of medieval weaponry, not only the mace. So yeah, that'd be one thing that I would really want to see, is a Hawkman figure, especially in the modern suit. And then the number 3, it would be Sinestro. As you guys know, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. If you've watched any of the videos on my channel, you know that. And you know, what is a line of DC figures without Green Lantern's greatest adversary, the sinister Sinestro? Sinestro's, for me, my second favorite villain of all time after Lex Luthor, and Sinestro is just very cool. And so I would definitely want to see more of Sinestro, and I would also recommend putting him in the blue suit, because that's what he's had lately, is the blue version of the suit, and possibly giving him 2 hands, one with an ultraviolet power ring and one with a Sinestro Corps power ring or a Yellow Lantern power ring. But yeah, if you can capture sort of that maniacal mustached grin that both Jorge Jimenez and especially Ethan Van Sciver accomplished, that would be ideal. So yeah, this would definitely be my second pick. And also I'd want him to come with both a lantern and another energy construct. But yeah, I mean, as far as villains, it doesn't get much better than Sinestro. So he'd definitely be my third pick. And then we get to Superboy, who is, I think, just an awesome character. And when I say Superboy, I'm not, of course, talking about John Kent. I'm instead talking about Connor Kent, the clone of Superman and Lex Luthor, who I think is just such a compelling character. He's so fun to read. For those of you who aren't aware, he just received a new series as recommended by the fans. Like, the fans chose that Superboy would receive a new series in like Reader's Choice. So it's super exciting, and I would love to see him get an action figure. I think his like leather jacket and the sunglasses are such a cool look, and he's not yet had an action figure in his modern costume, in his like costume as introduced by Bendis and John Timms in the pages of Young Justice. So I would really love to see that. And yeah, I mean, he's just an awesome character, great character to look at. And also, my name is Connor. So I definitely applaud his name. And I love his like relationship with like Impulse and Robin as well. Which brings us actually to the next pick, which is number 5, Impulse. Bar Allen, of course. Not E. Ray West, although she was Impulse for a while. But Impulse is one of my favorite characters of all time. I just love how much energy he has. He's such a funny character to read. And again, I love sort of the Young Justice dynamic between he and Robin and Superboy. And yeah, I mean, again, he's not had an action figure since probably, I don't know, 2008, something like that, maybe a little bit later than that. But and he's only had one action figure ever. Well, actually, he had one as Kid Flash, but it'd be really great to see him in his modern suit. So definitely be one I would recommend to DC Multiverse. And then, of course, Wonder Woman. And this is one everybody's been clamoring for, is a comic book accurate Wonder Woman in her current suit to pose with our Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Green Lantern to complete the Justice League, essentially. Wonder Woman is the only figure of like the big six, that is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, the Flash, that's not represented. Now, of course, we have gotten Wonder Woman figures, but they've all been sort of off Wonder Woman figures. They haven't been quite her comic book appearance. So it'd be really cool to finally get a comic book accurate Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's such a great character. She's probably the, maybe the sixth or seventh most popular DC character, maybe fifth. So it's a little surprising that she hasn't received a figure yet, but I think it'd be really great to see one from Todd McFarlane. One of the reasons he probably hasn't done one is that he's leery to do too many female figures because he doesn't think they sell as well, which he might be right. But I think Wonder Woman's the exception. I think she would do really well. And then we get to Wonder Girl, which follows nicely from Wonder Woman, of course. But Wonder Girl is one of my favorite characters. Probably I like her even more than Wonder Woman, interestingly enough. But I'm talking not about Donna Troy or even Yara Flor, the most recent Wonder Girl, but instead Cassie Sandsmark, as you can plainly see here. Again, I love sort of the dynamic that she has with the other characters in Young Justice. And I think her modern suit is really cool. And again, it's something that hasn't been represented. But her romance with, both Tim Drake and most importantly, Superboy is really neat. And so I think it'd be cool to sort of build our Young Justice as we get some of these Tim Drake and Superboy and Impulse to build Young Justice and include them among the DC Multiverse universe that we've already sort of have. So I would really recommend this one. And and then Guy Gardner. I love this picture of Guy Gardner, and I chose it because it's so like in your face, which is Guy Gardner, right? Guy Gardner in a nutshell. This picture is of course from his Justice League International days, which he's since sort of moved on from that, but nevertheless, I think he's a really cool character. I mean, I don't think there's really any character in the DC universe who's more fun to read than Guy Gardner. I mean, he just always keeps you guessing. He's egotistical. He's loud. He has a bit of a potty mouth. He's very funny to read. And so I would love to see him represented with maybe a construct accessory and a power battery. And by the way, I would say, never has a Guy Gardner figure been made where he has like the M sticker on his power battery, which is true to the comics, by the way. In the comics, Guy Gardner put like a Michigan bumper sticker on his power battery, which is very humorous because he's a huge Michigan football fan. So anyway, I would love to see Todd McFarlane do that. I don't think he will, but I do think eventually Todd will put out a Guy Gardner figure. It's just a matter of how long it will be until he does it, but I want to see one straight away. He's probably my second favorite Green Lantern. Super fun to read after Hal Jordan, of course. And then next, number 9, getting down there, is Robin Tim Drake, and of course I've mentioned him a lot across this video because of his place in Young Justice. And Todd McFarlane has announced he is making a Tim Drake figure. Actually, he's already made one, which is the video game version, and now he's set to make the Red Robin one from the New 52, which I do like that suit, and I did like his days as Red Robin with the wings and the New 52, but I would want to see his classic costume. I like that classic red and green. And then his like late 2000s costume was also really cool. And I do like his current costume as well. So I'd probably, if I were to put these in order, I'd probably want his current costume first, then his classic, like really classic, then his like 2000s. And there's also, you have to remember, there's also his Red Robin suit from the late 2000s. So this is the one with like the Batman cowl without the ears. This is the one with like the full face cowl, or not full face, but most of the face cowl. And I'm not a huge fan of that suit, personally, and I didn't think DC Universe Classics did a very good one, but I would definitely be in favor of Todd McFarlane putting out as many Tim Drake figures as possible. In my opinion, Tim Drake is the best Robin. I mean, I do like Damian, but but Tim Drake for me is you know, the Robin. He's smart, he's good with technology, he's the only Robin to ever figure out Batman's secret identity by himself. He's not like too rebellious like Jason. And he's just a smart kid, and a really compelling character. So yeah, I'd love to build Young Justice with some more Red Robin. And then number 10 here is Simon Baz. And there's a lot of Green Lantern figures on this list, I know, but that's to be expected since I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. And Simon Baz is probably my third favorite Green Lantern after Hal and Guy. And yeah, I just really love like Simon Baz's backstory with how he like stole the car and then he still gets picked by the Ring, and sort of his encounter with the Justice League in his early days. And he's just a really fun, again, another sort of fun character to read. I wish they would do more with him, and I'm a little surprised they haven't. But of course, like the first Muslim Green Lantern, and you know, a very welcome addition to the core for me. I think, you know, there's only been one Simon Baz figure ever made, and that's the DC Collectibles one, which was made in, I want to say like 2013, something like that. So it's been a good long while. DC Mattel was supposed to make one in their DC Multiverse line, but that got scrapped. And so I really hope that Todd makes one again, you know, including a power battery, and of course, including, you know, in addition to possibly a construct, his ring, or not his ring, his revolver, his gun, because, well, actually, I shouldn't say that because Todd can't include guns now, but like that's like one cool thing about Simon Baz is that like carries a gun in addition to his power ring, so that if his power ring runs out, he still has like a weapon, which is pretty smart, like really smart. But anyway, I get the whole no guns thing. I personally think, you know, it should be okay. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to grow up to, you know, hurt people because there's guns in the toys. I really don't think that's a factor. Like, okay, but anyway, but no, but Simon Baz is a really cool character, and they could do him well with or without the gun, obviously. So yeah, so that'd be my pick, my list. Again, I think we need, you know, we need a Hal Jordan, a great Hal Jordan. That'd be my number one. But let me know in the comments below what your pick would be. What would be your top 10 most desired Todd McFarlane figures that need to come out right now? Yeah, just let me know, like, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. I'll try to respond. Please help me grow this channel. It's a very, very small channel right now. But please help me grow it. Help me know like what sort of content you'd like, how I can improve these videos, that sort of thing. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. And go charge your power rings. Here we go. All right. Bye now.